Hi, everyone. This week we are going to be working on the Industrial Revolution. Very few events in world history have had the impact upon us today that the Industrial Revolution has had. Our entire economy is based on what we call a consumer economy. And in this consumer economy, people manufacture things and then they put them in markets, which we then use our money, which we probably earned through some kind of labor, to purchase these things. So, for example, this little phone here, without the Industrial Revolution, this would not exist. We would not be having an online class if it wasn't for the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution uh, changed the world in ways that were far reaching all across the globe. And we're still going through a bit of an industrial revolution these days. Um, so as we look at this, there are two good things about it. There's no question that the quality of our life has improved because we can now go to a grocery store and buy our food rather than having to raise it ourselves and slaughter it and try to eat it there. Uh, Healthcare, medicines have become widely available because of the industrial revolution. Again, we have a lot more leisure time than people used to have. Uh, we're living longer. There are all kinds of benefits to the industrial revolution. However, the Industrial Revolution also had a very, very dark side. And that dark side is going to be explored in many ways. But this week, we're going to actually look uh, at child labor. So, back when the Industrial Revolution first started, these people that had the capital or the money to start their own businesses and to build their own factories and to dig their own mines to get the coal because coal was necessary to power the factories, um, they realized that they could hire 5-year old children and pay them less money to do some of the dirty work than they would have to pay adults. And a lot of these children would become injured badly in factory accidents, or they would die at a very young age from breathing in all the coal dust in the coal mines and things like that. And so it started to become a problem which Parliament wasn't paying any attention to because Parliament is made up of, basically people of wealth. And so two things are going to be looked at this week by you. One of them is going to be a report on the Commissioner of Mines. So when Parliament found out that there was child labor going on and the working conditions for these children in these mines was horrific, they sent inspectors in, and what the inspectors found was absolutely horrifying. So they wrote a report on it, and you're going to have certain pieces of this report in this week's work where you're going to read testimony from children as young as, say, 7 or 8 years old up until they're teenagers, talking about the abuses they endure and the horrible working conditions, and the toll it's taken on their health. Uh, Also, that uh, the Industrial Revolution can have the fuel needed to continue to manufacture things and to continue to satisfy the high demand for consumer goods. And, oh, by the way, to continue to make rich people even richer off the backs of this child labor, which they're paying pennies for. So that report came out, and Parliament was so horrified they started passing laws, not so much to outlaw child labor as much as to um, put restraints on it and restraints on the employers. And of course, it would be a long time and several more decades before child labor was outright outlawed. Um, so the report gives you kind of this factual accounting of what's going on in the mines. Elizabeth Barrett Browning, whom you met last week, uh, who wrote the sonnets from Portuguese, she was so horrified by what she read in these reports, she decided to use her poetry to reach out to the public and say, hey, all this horrible stuff is going on right here under your noses in England. And so she wrote Cry of the Children. So it is an artistic way to get the message out for people that don't want to read reports. And it was very effective, right? This is where art actually influences life. Her poem also helped to bring attention to the child labor problem and to get laws passed, which would, over the course of time, eventually outlaw child labor altogether. So, um, in your discussion, I want you to think about some kind of a movie, a song, a poem, uh, something that an artist has done as a way to protest something that's going on in the world, some injustices, if you will. So there are thousands of options you can choose from. People, you know, doing art that furthers the cause of the Black Lives Matter movement, of the Me Too movement with the women that are being sexually assaulted, with all kinds of things, sex trafficking and so on and so forth, that comment on uh, big issues and big problems in this world today. So think about that for your discussion posting, and then think about uh, as you read both the report and the poem, and you take the reading quiz on them. Your paper you're going to write this week is going to be to analyze how the two can almost be companion pieces, how they work together to alert the world that hey, we have a problem right here in England, and our children are dying, uh, so that just a few people can get very rich. So that's this week's assignment. So you're going to learn about the Industrial Revolution. You're going to learn how the reason that the Industrial Revolution happened in the first place was a perfect storm of raw materials and capital and mobility and transportation and things of that nature all coming together to form a movement that has without question improved the quality of our life, but also at a very, very high cost to a whole lot of people.